Okay, so now the hole's a lot deeper, and you can see that that piece goes in there really deep now. And we're ready to start gluing this puppy up. Oh, there it is. Let's see, as soon as I can find my piece of Lexan here. Yeah, you can see now it gets in there, so that's pretty much dead on with the top. And that's kind of what I wanted. I didn't want to have to sand that down too far. So this is the way it's going to look. It's going to have that piece here and then the eye piece over the top of it. And that'll be kind of cool. So it's time to start gluing this up. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to glue the entire eye, and then I'm going to glue that part separately because I got to make sure that no glue ends up on this, or you're going to see it forever, and it's going to be kind of a tricky glue. And I'm going to kind of almost have to play with it because I'm probably going to not glue some of it until the epoxy starts to harden. So let's start gluing in the other pieces. And we'll just kind of show you what I'm doing here with the epoxy. Oh, isn't my workbench a mess? Here we go. And I'm just making some epoxy here. This is tube epoxy. I'm going to need quite a bit of it, so I'm pouring out quite a bit. And I just have like a little popsicle stick here. Let's get that wrench out here so I don't lose it. And we just mix this up. Now I'm going to put in a little bit, just a little bit of maple dust, just so I color it a little bit. Okay, now the reason why I'm using maple dust instead of mahogany dust is because maple dust is a lighter color, and this stuff always has a tendency to dry darker than the wood you're using to color it. So I always try to go like one shade of wood less than what I'm using, unless I'm doing ebony, and then I just use ebony. So let's go back to the eye. And there it is. Okay, so make sure there's no dust in there, and one last check. And I'm going to start putting some of this epoxy in. I'm going to be very careful not to get it into that eye section though, because that part I want to have glued completely separately. So this will also tell me how that eye piece should fit in when I get all the rest of these pieces in. Now I'm using quite a bit of glue because I want it to come up over the edges. That is the goal. You sand it back later, but you want it to come up over the edges so it fills any gaps or seams. So you can see that I'm using quite a bit of epoxy here. Not just like a light coat at the bottom. If you do that, what will happen is when you go to stain it, the stain will get underneath all of those little gaps and cause you a lot of grief. So you don't want to do that. Okay. And I got a good amount of glue all over the place, and I think I am ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to start putting in the pieces that I know how they fit. You know exactly where they're going to go. There's no question. There's no wondering if you got it in the right place. Let's do those pieces first. That way it makes it a lot easier to put the mystery pieces in. And I got one piece that's giving me a little bit of a problem. There it goes. Alright. Now, That looks cool. That looks very cool. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that the eye still fits. And it does. Real nice, as a matter of fact. Wow. Can't complain about that. Alright. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to just drop a little bit of epoxy into the bottom. Not enough for it to come across the sides, but enough for it to hold that eye. I'm going to drop the eye in. And I did get a little bit of epoxy on the eye, so we're going to wipe that off real quick. I just saw it. So that means there's some epoxy coming on the sides here that I don't want. So we're just going to drop that in there. Yeah, that looks good. Oh, that's going to be so cool. Oh, now that I can really see it in place, that is going to be so cool. And then what we just do is just drop this piece of Lexan in over the top. That's the wrong direction. Yeah, just like that. Oh, yeah. Oh my God, is that going to be great?